Hi, my name's Mark Hayward. I am a corporate employee with a entrepreneurial mindset. Here are some of my thoughts, ideas and comments. And I would just like to start today to talk about a concept which I think is incredibly important for everyone who wants to do something different or unique. Now that might be starting up a business, that might be equally doing a hobby, it might equally be driving racing cars or something like that, starting up something big that needs to be thought about before you actually do it. I'm going to talk about these three separate parts which are all needed for someone that's going to be successful. So first point, number one, is you need to think. Okay. Second part is you need to do action or execute. And third is you need willpower. So, hopefully at this stage you should all have an idea where I'm going with this, but equally I think it's worth talking about because it's important to use and to understand each of these three different parts because they all need to be in to be successful. So, first point, think. Right, so you need to be able to think about an idea, whether that's a product, whether that's a service, whether that is a business idea. You need to be able to think about that idea. You need to be able to break that idea down into different components and how you're going to attack them. If it's a project, you need to be able to break all that down into being able to work out the most effective and probably quickest way of being able to deliver that. So you need to be able to use your brain and be able to think about these different factors. So what you need to do is you need to think. So let's just say you're starting a new project at work. And it's your responsibility, the project, you're the project manager. You need to be able to think with your colleagues on how you're going to be able to deliver that project. So whether that's you or your colleagues, your team members, colleagues, whatever, you need to be able to break that project into different components. Now that might be different phases. For example, there might be phase one, which is just analysis. Phase two might be deciding course of action. Phase 3 might be acting, and then phase 4 might be keep on going. So you need to be able to break those things down into the different components, and within each component, each phase, you then have to break down into each milestone within there. Now, all of these things that we've talked about now is being able to think about the project. So it is crucial to be able to think about that project. Now, without this thinking phase, you'll make mistakes. Now, don't get me wrong, everyone makes mistakes. Even if you plan something, there might be an error in the personnel. There might be an error because of holiday. There might be an error that wasn't factored in because of someone leaving. Some of these things you can deal with and you can pre-plan. Some of them you can't, but essentially you need to be able to have the ability to be able to think about this project and think about the components that need to be there to be able to deliver. So we've all thought about the project, we've all deliberated and maybe discussed within a team on how we're going to deliver. The next point is action. Number 2 is action. So action is so important because that is executing, that is doing. In a project, that is being able to produce the software, the service or product, and that is being able to get the right people to be able to build it, test it, or if it's manufacturing, you actually build something. Equally, you test that as well. So this is the phase of action. This is the phase that you need to be able to work out who's doing what, And you need to be able to break that down so we know what each component and your delivery was always down to the milestones that you put in place. It might be talking to other people about delivery dates, if it's a project, as I said. So very clearly, there is this whole phase where you need to be able to action, execute, do. So many people do the thinking and never actually do the action, execute, doing. Now, this is the biggest fault in most people in these sorts of entrepreneurial businesses. They might have 100 ideas and never actually action. It takes a level of commitment, whether it's financial or time, to be able to do action. So it takes a commitment to be able to deliver this action piece, but you need to be able to work hard and work diligently and work to the maximum to be able to deliver on your timeframes that you've thought about in phase one, in the thinking phase. So you need to be able to do, and whether that is I don't know, what could you do, building biros or something like that. You need to actually build them. You can think about what they look like, what colours you want, but you need to be able to build them in a manufacturing basis for the cheapest price that you could probably do. So a lot is to do with this action phase. Now, the third phase that I want to talk about is about willpower. Now, willpower is the patience, persistence, delivering, keep on delivering. So this is a really interesting bit which I don't think always gets discussed. So if you're doing a project, that is being able to do it until it is delivered, and even if you don't deliver on time, you then make sure that the second phase of your project is delivered on time. Equally, if we use the biro, the pen analogy, that is being able to produce. You've started to produce them manufacturing, but you keep on producing them because there's markets that you've not thought about. You could go out to Ryman's and sell it to them, or you could go to various stores and be able to pitch to them. Now, this is the bit where you just have to keep on going. You need to keep on being persistent and going out and making sales, being there, being close to people that that are in the business, going to network events, being able to then sell in a large supermarket, in a department store, and actually going out there and selling to them. Now, willpower, there's a fine line between having good willpower and being delusional, and I just want to clear this up, that if you've got a good idea and you've thought about it and you've delivered it in your action phase, all you need to do is keep on doing it, and you need patience to be able to keep on delivering. So many people expect to be able to be successful in 3 months, 6 months, even a year. I think what is incredibly important is that you don't define when you're going to be successful, and therefore you need to keep on delivering to a higher standard. So if it's your biros, you need to deliver to a high standard, to a cheap cost, to be able to go out and sell it. And when you get a sale, then build on that sale, cross-sell with something else, with a different coloured biro, for example. So it's really important that you keep persistence. Now, the delusional stage is based on if you do not have a good product or service. So if you build biros and you do not build biros that work, then you're just going to be delusional. You're going to try and sell them. So even if you get a sale to a big department store, they try using them and half of them don't work, you'll never get a resale. So that's where the difference between delusional and having good willpower is. You need to stay persistent, keep going, fighting, hustling, whatever the word is for you. But you know that you're delivering something of high quality that needs to be heard, seen, delivered, written with, whatever it is. So that is your defining factor between being delusional and having good willpower. So I would say it's really important that as a person, you keep on delivering to a high standard and you keep on going and going and going. So many of these stories are that you're just about to give up, and you have the story of they just did one more push and then went viral, was successful. There's so many of the stories of people that gave up potentially just before things got really, really good. So the fine line between delusional and willpower, but I would say if you believe you've got a good product, then you must keep going. You must believe in yourself and believe in being patient and persistent and delivering. Okay, that's the end of the podcast. This is the Absolute Business Mindset podcast. If you listen to this on Apple, please can you give me an iTunes review? That would be really fantastic. Great to hear your thoughts, ideas and comments about what my podcast is about, and if you like it. Equally, if you don't like it, please share your thoughts as well. There is the Twitter account, which is Mark Hayward 169. Please look out for that. Got a lot to do with my podcasts and some of my thoughts, some quotes. It's quite interesting. Keep an eye out for that. I now have a website, which is the absolutebusinessmindset.com. Please check out for services. I'm producing a service for mentoring. If you have a particular interest that you think I can help you with, whatever stage of the career that you are in, reach out to me on the email address, which is absolutebusinessmindset@gmail.com, and you can send me an email and we can talk about the services. Equally, I'm just in the process of finalising my ebook, which will be on the website very, very soon. Back to the podcast. If you could please subscribe to the podcast. If you do it on iTunes, Stitcher or Spotify, please subscribe to it. You get it every week. I do podcasts Sundays and Thursdays, so check out when they come out. And also, if you have enjoyed this, please, 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 can you tell someone about the podcast? Can you tell a friend? Can you tell a family member or a colleague? I would love you to share the podcast, and people can check me out. Thank you very much. I'll speak to you soon.